Range Rec Center. 355.
355. Awesome. Great price. Good deal, William. Thank you. Other upcoming listings.
I've got one.
Awesome.
It's Carol Van Beek.
Hey, Carol. How are you?
I couldn't get my picture to come up. So I've got one. It's going on the market on Friday. $499. Columbine Knoll. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, huge backyard, corner lot, and we had it under contract and it fell through, and I need to get it back in a contract as soon as possible.
Awesome. All right, motivated. I love it. So let's definitely help Carol out as well. All right, other upcoming listings. Thank you, Carol. All right, how about price improvements? Any price improvements? Okay, how about buyer needs? Any buyer needs?
So can anybody just chime in?
Absolutely.
Okay, if I could find something in Heritage, I would absolutely love that.
Okay.
And then I also need a ranch in Highlands Ranch. But the ranch, this lady wants, she wants everything. She wants a unicorn. She wants it completely remodeled, under 500, nothing north facing, and no yard. Oh, and master bedroom has to be on the main floor, so it has to be a ranch.
Okay.
So if anybody can help me find that unicorn, I'd appreciate it.
All right, we're on a unicorn hunt. Awesome. We'll see what we can do. It sounds like it could be an opportunity to even create that inventory too. So if we can't find it, then let's work on creating that new listing that could be a ranch. So awesome. Other upcoming buyer needs. Thank you.
I do have one. I have a pre-approved buyer up to $450. She wants to wait until the madness kind of stops a little bit or slows down because they're coming in from out of town. But they're looking for a 4-bedroom house and 3-car garage. Those are kind of priorities. Denver South Metro, so Castle Rock, Parker, Highlands Ranch, Centennial would all work.
Okay.
What's the price
Awesome.
range you're looking at?
Up to $450.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Jamie.
Hey, Patrick, I'd suggest putting all these on our Facebook page, so if somebody is looking for a reason to call, they can start calling around some neighborhoods. People are answering
Love
their
that.
phones.
They are. They're home. They're home and they're answering. That's for sure. The conversion rate right now for answered calls is skyrocketing. And they're doing things like painting their walls. So they they are ready to talk. All right, very cool. Any other buyer needs? Okay, let's keep going then. So a big piece that I wanted to talk about here today is definitely, we talked about this before and it's a reoccurring theme and it will continue this way, is going to be mindset. And really, how are we starting out our day, right? I mean, truly, how are we starting out our day? How are we dealing with the day changing the next day, right? Or now some of us have become at-home teachers and doing our very, very best with that as well. So when we look at that, we really dive in, culture comes to mind. And the reason that right behind me here on my right side is MVVBP, which is mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. And it's really critical to know, and we talked about this a little bit last week, and I just wanted to pause on this. How many of us know what the Keller Williams mission is? How many of us know that? If you do, go ahead and jump right in. So who would like to share with us what that is?
Ask questions and you didn't warn anybody.
Absolutely. So I'll give you a hint. The start of it is to build careers worth having. Who could finish that statement? Amber, I know you're biting at the bit right now.
Lives worth living.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Legacy is worth
Businesses.
leaving.
Legacy is worth leaving.
Yeah, absolutely. What's another one?
Businesses worth owning.
Yep, exactly. So if you look at this, just on the mission, is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And that's truly where Keller Williams excels and separates from the pack and the competition, is because there is a culture, and it's truly we know this from our own KW Executives family. It's tangible. And so each week, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into a culture moment that's going to talk about whether it's the mission, the vision, our values. And really, it's not just about reading it or knowing it. It's how are we internalizing it? How are we using it on our daily life that we have now, with all these new incredible opportunities that we have in front of us? What is our mission? What is your business's mission? Does it reflect the same thing as KW? Is it different? Does it complement? So that would be a question that I'll leave with you to think about over this next week. What's your mission? And then let's work our way through the values, the vision, and the values, beliefs, and perspectives. And you can Google that, and it'll pull it right up, and you can print it all out and paint it on your wall. The one thing that I wanted to chat about as well is we're in the 4 conversations. We're in week 4. We're in profit, right? So how many of us have seen changes with our profit goal this month? Or have we? Yeah, I see Scott's hand went up, right? So we're seeing some changes. So then how are we insulating our business? When we're looking at what we did, our successes that we're feeling this week, last week, this month, isn't an overnight success. If you really look at it, it's what you were doing 60 days ago, 90 days ago, sometimes longer than that. Scott, right? So, I mean, it's keeping that, and I mean that with all the sincerity in the world. It's massive kudos to you, Scott, for following up and staying in relationship, right? Because we never know when they're gonna pull the trigger. Same thing right now. When we're looking at profit, who do you know that's in your database? If you could identify 5 people in your database that are ready to take advantage of the market that is either today or coming up here soon, are they investors? Are they cash ready? Are they able to buy? Investors right now are looking at this as opportunity, because we all know what's going on in the stock market. So they're pulling their stocks out, reinvesting it into real estate. What they're waiting for is to really be able to see how the market flexes and responds back. So when you're looking at your profit goals, what are you building out today that can impact your profit 60 days out, maybe even 90 days out? So how, and let's pause for a moment with that, and I'll share some industry news in a second. How are those care calls going? How are those, when you're calling your database and you're asking them how they're doing, which please goodness, I hope that you're doing this right now, because it's an incredible time to be reaching out to people and letting them know you care. Because when this passes, which it will pass, they will remember the people who cared, not the ones that sold to them. So who'd like to share some success stories that you've had when you're out calling your database or contacting them?
I will.
Awesome.
I've been picking up the phone and calling people, just checking in, seeing how they're doing. And like you said, everybody's answering the phone. People like me are chomping at the bit for someone to talk to. I've done a lot of FaceTimes actually, and I've set up a couple of happy hours with friends, and I've been using Zoom for that. And that's super fun, just to stay in front of people and, stay in touch with someone so they know you're there.
Awesome. I love that,
Patrick.
Jamie. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Patrick, Mark Mays, how you doing? Hey,
Hey, Mark.
probably much like Jamie, I almost call them virtual coffees. I'm a big coffee guy live. This is just coffee virtual. And I think people have been pretty receptive to just having a conversation around how they're doing. And as you guys know, you guys have been doing this a long time. It really kind of evolves into real estate. They know what you do. If there's something that percolates in that conversation, then you can bring some value to, then you go for it, as they say. But virtual coffee is what I've been calling it. I don't know if that helps anybody, but that's what I'm doing.
I love it. I love it, Mark. That's awesome. Thank you. Great aha there. Who else has something to share?
So yesterday, in our neighborhood, we've got a fairly active cul-de-sac. And there's a couple people that keep all of the information all updated and they share it out to everybody. I hadn't seen or heard anything from anyone. You just see people driving out, coming back and forth once in a while. So yesterday I put out just a care email to everybody in the cul-de-sac saying, hey, how's everybody doing? You know, we're down here at the end so we don't see what's going on at the top of the cul-de-sac. You know, hope everybody's okay. Who's open for doing a virtual, a Zoom happy hour on Friday or Saturday? You know, chime in with which day works for you. We can even do 2. And so all of a sudden they're all popping in. These virtual happy hours have gone viral. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the greatest ahas last week, that had to have been the best Zoom call that we were on all week. I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't that fun, you know? And I think it's being able to play some light into this as well. And you know, when you're out there and you're talking with your database and you're talking with your neighbors, take that question one step further, right? Not just how can I help you? You know, how are you guys doing? I care about you. What could be something that I could help you with this week, right? It may have nothing to do with real estate. And if they say, hey, we're good, then awesome, I appreciate that. I'm sure that you live in a neighborhood where there's maybe some neighbors that aren't as fortunate. So do you know a neighbor that I could reach out to sincerely and ask how I could help? Or do you know someone who needs some help that we'd love to be able to reach out to? This is all about care calls right now. And the key around it is it goes several layers deep, not just that top layer. Dive into it a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper. What you'll find and what's amazing and what has happened to me, I've had friends call me I haven't spoken to in 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, life went different directions. And you know, I got a call. I've had calls come from all over the country just saying, hey, we know you're in Denver. How are you guys doing? Right? That was awesome. It made the day. And it really did. It made us feel important. It made us feel like, hey, you know what? I know it's been a while, right? And everything's fine because it's not about a sale at all. And what we're finding is that this is an opportunity to where you could take a referral business, which is an insulator in a market shift. A referral business is an insulator. So the more that you can be reaching out and having these conversations, and it doesn't cost you anything. That's the most beautiful thing about it. So what are some of your ahas around that? I get to start calling on people. This is gonna be fun.
You should.
So Danielle, what would be some of the ahas you have around that? Hi, Danielle. Good morning.
There's never been a better reason to reach out to your sphere. I mean, this is the easiest way to reach out and say, you know what, I haven't talked to you in forever, but how are you doing? You know, how's the family? And it's just a great icebreaker for those people that you've really had a hard time reaching out to because you're looking at it from a sales point of view. There is no sales at this point. It's reaching out and just being a person and asking how you can help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
William?
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I don't know what we're giggling on, but that's okay. I only have so many folks I can
William,
look
put
at.
your background back up.
William is reaching out.
He's reaching out to everybody. Awesome. Andrea,
So
how about for you?
One of the things
Andrea.
I found that in reaching out, there's people that maybe haven't responded back for like months of me reaching out, like, but calling on this, they're not only either answering, but they're calling me back.
Yeah.
I think people's perspective has changed a little with this situation, and instead of screening calls like, you know, daily life, oh, I don't want to talk to them right now, they're answering calls, they're calling back, they're saying, how are you? Back to us. So I'm talking to people that I've exchanged texts with or voicemails. Now I'm talking to them.
Good. I love that.
This really is a situation of misery loves company, and we're all in this boat together. So reminding people of that is, you know, it's a good reason just to check on people and let them know, hey, I get where you are, and I'm there too, and I'm here for you.
Absolutely. Playing ostrich now will cause not just immediate impact to the relationships you have, it will also cause future impact to your business. So now's not the time at all. I mean, I know there's other companies where they're not even hearing from their leadership at all. At all. It blows my mind because this is the time where we take action. The key around the taking action piece, there's no sales pitch with that. It's taking action to show you care. And that's a whole, we can see how that becomes an alignment piece all the way across with all these conversations we're having. There's no sales pitch. It will show up, right? Like they will bring it up. Like, hey, how's business right now? And then that opens up the door. But this is not the time to say, who do you know looking to buy, sell, or invest, right? Also, be very, very wary about what you put online on Facebook. We talked about this last week. I'm just going to repeat it. Just be really wary. If it's a joke, we think it's funny. I think it's funny. Sometimes the consumer doesn't. And we never know what's going on in their household. And because there's stresses that are happening, that could be a very quick way to be unfollowed and you don't even realize it. So just be wary when you're posting things. I think you can have some fun with it, but be cautious around that as well. Who wants to hear about what's going on with our competition that's out there right now? No, Jamie does. Well, that's good. Anyone else? Anyone else want to hear about this? All right, there you are, Steve. Awesome. So here's what's interesting. I've been on Inman since early this morning. On Haven's birthday, he decided he wanted to start the day at 4:25. So there we go. Happy birthday, Haven. So I was online reading up on all the different changes that are happening out there that's creating opportunity for us. So one of those are Zillow. Zillow has suspended all iBuyer programs in all 24 markets, including Denver. Opendoor and Redfin have suspended all iBuyer programs. Realogy has a program called RealSure, and that has also been suspended. Compass, and I'm going to wrap this all the way around for everyone. Compass just is in the process of doing a layoff of 15% of their leadership and of their staff. Which is really interesting. Realogy, which, you know, again, suspended the iBuyer program. It's also been one of the companies that are hit the hardest by the stock market sell-off. So they've taken a hit to where they went from a company stock opening at the day at $3.44 per share, was up as high as $13 per share last month. And in this past week, it's gone down to $2.29 per share. Now, Realogy consists of Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, Berkshire, Century 21, and more companies on top of that. So there's a lot of realtors that are out there that, they're not hearing from their leadership. Nothing's going on, right? It's just silence. And then while that's happening, they've invested into these stocks that are now plummeting. So this would be an opportunity to reach out to them. And I don't mean this from a recruiting standpoint at all. So please don't take it like that. I do mean it as a care call. So if you have an agent that you worked with that's with a different company, maybe they're part of this list that you've done a deal with, you've had coffee with, you've had a beer with, whatever that looks like. Now would be an incredible time to reach out to them and say, hey, you know what? This isn't a recruiting call. Our office is doing all kinds of different Zooms and opportunities to help us grow during this market shift that happened overnight. And I'd love to invite you to it. And that would give them so much value, and it's a Zoom call, so they don't have to leave their house. So now we've talked about what's been going on with Compass, Zillow, Realogy, Remax as well, has had to do some major adjustments in this last 2 weeks. Now let's look at what's happened with Keller Williams. A little different story. So Keller Williams took a estimated $20 million cost reduction and actually benefit in MAPS coaching that resulted from 50% off of MAPS coaching until June 1st. So if you're currently in MAPS coaching, then there's that opportunity for you. For new coaching clients, to receive the first 2 months free on a 12-month contract. The reason they're doing that is because 2 months would be 60 days, which our hope is that we'll see some light at the end of this tunnel here within the next 60 days. It could go 90, we don't know. I mean, there is not a timeline with this. But the point of it is that Keller Williams, instead of cutting on staff or cutting on leadership or closing down offices or doing those pieces, instead Gary Keller himself is taking the hit on this. He's still paying all the coaches, so they don't take a financial hit at all on this. So he's investing $20 million out of his own pocket into this. A little different story than when we look at what's going on with other companies. And the reason I bring this up, I know Deb, you and I have been on our coaching calls. It's pretty amazing to hear the excitement of the coaches to be able to call us as their clients and say, hey, you know what? I have some awesome, exciting news. Keller Williams is chopping the price in coaching in half until June 1st. And our coaches were excited about that. My first question to my coach was, well, are you taking a financial hit for that? And she said, no, appreciate you asking, right? So when you look at the opportunity that's happening in front of us, the Zooms that are happening, the KW Connects that are happening, the masterminds that are happening, LabCoat Agents is an awesome Facebook group. It's the largest Facebook group that of its kind. It's ran by Nick Baldwin. I believe Nick's, I'm part of LabCoat Agents, so just click on my Facebook profile and you'll see it. They're constantly masterminding and talking about what they're doing, what other top agents are doing all around the country right now. If they're at a stay-at-home order, how are they doing digital open houses? How are they doing digital events? Are they using Zoom to then get the masses together on a database and then break out into groups and come back and talk? So there's a lot of things that are happening right now that Keller Williams is really pushing hard. And that's something I know, Amber, I got you on. You've been on back-to-back Zooms as well. What have you seen from your side?
She's on the phone. She's on the phone at the moment. So she can't answer.
Okay. So Deb, what are you seeing from Judy and from leadership?
Well, people are just stepping up in huge ways, and even outside of our group, John Maxwell was a speaker at Masterminds last year, and he's even doing some really awesome presentations online for free for everybody. And he started Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then today he did a Q&A live with people. So I posted that out as well on my Facebook out to the world. It's amazing the people that have jumped in on that. Also, one of the things he said I thought was cool was crisis bumps us out of our comfort zone and into our creative zone. And man, you really see the creativity going on. And from what you all do, if you've got kids at home and you're teaching them, to our MAPS coaches, what are we doing? Judy Brown, she's, really pouring in on the PC coaches that she coaches on her Facebook page. That's just private for us. And people are really stepping up to the plate.
Yeah, it's exciting. So knowing that, and this goes out to everybody, knowing what Keller Williams is doing, knowing that the opportunities are there, and then hearing what's going on with other companies, what are your ahas from that? How does that make you feel?
I'm really glad we're not publicly traded. We don't have stock.
Uh-huh.
We're owned by investors and by agents, right? It's what a huge difference.
Yeah. So, Steve, question for you. So as an owner and knowing that's what's going on, how does that make you feel? How does, when you're looking at the different companies, you've been in the game for a little bit, so you've seen different companies and the platforms, how they're responding versus how Keller Williams is responding?
Well, I think companies are going to be reactive to their shareholders, these publicly traded companies where, we can just tighten our belts and be flexible and proactive because we're privately held, and it keeps us in control, and we're more agile as a company, and, that helps our agents.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. Thank you, Steve.
Well, Patrick, one of the things you and I talked about yesterday is I have a good friend who's a realtor, and he gives me endless amounts of crap about being a KW and spending the money I spend. And it's kind of a joke, but he's always given me grief about, I must not like money very much because I give it all away. But he yesterday actually said it was good that I was where I was because of the amount of support I get here, and that at the end of the day, the money we spend is well worth it, because like you're saying, EXP isn't getting anything. I know the broker. I know nothing is happening. So they're starting out as islands, and they're just becoming very isolated as an island. So that's what I'm hearing. And like I said, he's always joking with me, but he was very serious yesterday when he said he was glad I was where I was.
Yeah. And thank you, Jim. And guys, that's not an uncommon conversation that's happening right now. It really isn't. So, and I mean that, and I'm not, saying, giving all the stats here, it's everything that's going on with these other companies is creating opportunity for you. And it's creating opportunity not just for your business, it also creates opportunity for you to impact those who you really care about and you like that work at different companies. Because this is all about trying to bridge and say, hey, you know what? Come check these out. These are free opportunities. There's no strings attached. In fact, we love it when there's guests, because then we get a different viewpoint on what they're seeing in the market. They get a different viewpoint than what we're seeing in the market. So as Jim said, I mean, it's quiet. Can you imagine literally if you heard nothing at all? If you heard nothing at all, and there was any Zooms, there was nothing. It just went black, went dark. How would you feel? How would that make you feel? Pretty intense, right? So that's the
Completely
opportunity.
unsupported.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and I know we have, Deb, go for it.
The other thing that Jim said that I picked up on was that person, that other agent, feels that it's what you spend instead of what you're investing. And Jim made the choice, how long, Jim? A year and a half ago to invest in himself.
Yeah,
right?
just over a year.
And that's what we do here, is we invest in ourselves and in each other. It's not spending money, it's making really wise investments. And right now you're seeing that payoff.
Mm-hmm. And I believe we will continue to see a payoff.
So, and it's not like, I mean, EXP is a great example. It's not like they're free. Their cap is 16,000. So it's not like they're cheap. They're paying money too, and they're getting and literally getting just nothing out of it locally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I think the reason I wanted to just to really dive into that is compare what your company is doing as it's raising the bar and what other companies doing as they're staying silent. And we all know as being realtors, and whether we're individuals or running teams or however that looks, it's the culture, it's the community that holds us together. It's this piece here on a Zoom, right? Which I love seeing everybody on the Zoom. And I also know that we're missing some on the Zoom. So that would be my ask to you, is to all of you at KW Executives, our family that we have here. If it is something that's important to your business and you feel that you're gaining value, whether that's the shift class, whether that's strategies around how to really focus in and have opportunities within changing times. If that's the stuff that's going on, which one of your KW Executives friends that, you know, maybe is a cube mate, maybe is an office mate, maybe you see them, maybe you don't see them enough, which one could we invite to make sure they're on the next call? And that would really be my ask to you, and our leadership's ask to you, is to really get that engagement going. Here's the other piece. We're doing this on purpose to where it may seem like we're starting to flood these Zoom calls, right? Don't go to everyone. Go to the one that's most important to you that week. What can really make a difference for you? And that's where you can take advantage of the information that's going on, because there's the opportunity within that education to then implementation. That's what's key. And when you have your office mate next to you, or on the Zoom with you, right? Then you're able to hold each other accountable about what you're talking about and why that class really matters. What action steps are you going to take? And that's what I think can be massively powerful for you, and it's motivating. And we all achieve more as we work together. Any ahas, questions, anything around that before we go to Broker Bites? All right, awesome. Yeah.
So I sent Jamie this morning, about 7:30 this morning, sent her, she said, oh, I missed my vision board. So I'm walking past her little office there this morning. I'm like, I can send her a picture of that. So I did.
Thank you for doing that.
That's awesome.
Anybody else miss anything, just call me. I'll either, pick it up and drop it off at your curb, or I'll send you a picture. Either way.
I missed my chair.
So, your chair? I know.
Amber's
me to go? I can go get it
uniform.
right now.
That's
I can
okay.
park it right next to me if you want.
You can sit in it.
Yep, all your windows are clean on the inside, so that's good. So just real quick, you guys I'm sure you're already doing it, but open houses in person, we're not going to be doing for a while. So when you go list a property, you've got your photographers going out doing professional photos. I would also suggest doing recording and walking through the property, maybe even asking the seller, what caused you to move into this neighborhood? What were your favorite things about the neighborhood? What are your favorite things about the property? And then maybe boosting that out, spending a couple bucks and boosting it out on Facebook. This morning and yesterday, Amber also sent it out. Damien sent out the Bar Association in Colorado wrote an addendum for COVID-19. And so Amber emailed it out yesterday. Just in case you misplaced something, I also uploaded it to the file section on our Facebook page. And it's also on the KW DSM PC, the productivity coaching file page. So when you go into your Facebook, it's right, you click on file and it's in there. CE credits. So if you need CE credits, or it's a great time to go and start piling them up a little bit, you'll have to pay for them because Smedder's not open to do them. But if you need CE credits to get your license renewed, you're going to have to do them all online. And Van Ed is a great place to go. I know there's a whole bunch of CE Shop. There's a bunch of other ones that you can go to do your CE credits. You can get a Zoom account for free. So each one of you can get a Zoom account that you can do for free. And there's a lot of things on there that you can plug into. I'm going to do a Zoom contracts class. So I'll pop that out with the link. I'm going to put it on our Facebook page, and Amber will post it so you'll know when that's coming up. And then the Ignite Sparks class and the Elementals class will all be uploaded. I've had them just on the PC Facebook page. I'll also put them in on the entire group, our Market Center Facebook page. They're really, really good classes. They're different than what they've had before. There's an hour video with each one that you can just tap into, and you can grab all the material. And we've had several agents, some that, you know, like Rhonda has been in the business for 12 plus years. Who else? Kim. And they're doing more business because of what they started doing that they learned through Ignite. It's not the old Ignite sessions. So what else? If you have commission checks and you are able to come into the office, if you've got office space here, you have one of those little keys, right? You've got your key. If you don't have one of these keys and you need to get in, send me a text message and I'll give you the code to get into the office. And in the mail boxes, the file cabinets, there's a red file in there with my name on it. Just put your checks inside of that, and I'm in once a day and I'm picking things up and also picking up mail. If there's mail that looks like it's really important, I'll give you a buzz. So that's about it.
Awesome.
Debbie,
There's a little bait.
Birthday
This little
boy. Scott, you had a question?
Yeah, so, you know, this morning with the shelter in place for Douglas County, I know we've had recommended things doing, any new requirements or we should be aware of?
It's more just around the open houses, not holding in-person open houses. Real estate, they had assumed that everybody would know that we'd fall under the bank section of the, what's the word I'm looking for?
Essentials.
There's an essentials, thank you.
Essential.
They assumed that we'd fall under the banking, and when it was explained to the powers that be that wasn't very clear, they jumped in and added real estate in. So your title companies and whatnot, although they're reducing their workforces and working from home as much as they can, they're still doing business. So you can still do business, and you can still pop into the office. You just gotta stay away from each other.
So showing houses you feel is still allowed under the stand place?
Yep, you can still do that. Yep.
What I heard from one of my friends today, that some realtors have some requires, like she had to go like one at a time inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just check the restrictions.
I think showing time has some restrictions as well.
Yeah, so read those broker remarks, and you know, if there's any, I wouldn't take children along.
No.
For showings. Take, you know, the people that are on the contract that have to sign, that's who you take with you. If you have to, you could do just like you do an open house, right? You could go and do a virtual walkthrough yourself of their property, and just tag them in, do a Facebook Live with them as you walk through the property. Is another thing that you could do. But just be mindful.
One of the things that we're seeing, and we saw this before too in the last market shift, and we talked about this last week, take a picture of the pre-approval letter prior to your showing, send it to the listing agent. Let the listing agent know that, hey, these guys are not looky-loos at all. This is not the time for looky-loos. This is the time for the decision makers. So when we review the motivation, as long as we're able to be out and showing, then take those precautions to insulate it. And then you're more likely to have your offer potentially accepted. So, and you'll have that showing where you're not kind of chasing the pre-approval letter or the lender around trying to get that. So, when you have someone pre-approved, get that letter right away, put that on your phone, and be able to send that over to the listing agent.
Yep. That COVID addendum is also going to be required for a while. So make sure that you go back and get that added in. Steve.
Debbie, so what you're addressing right now, is that reflective of what's going in tomorrow at 8 a.m. until April 17th?
Yes.
For the Tri-County area? Because it's a stay-at-home order. So what does that really mean?
Except for essential businesses. So, I mean, people could even, walk out of the house. If you've got gloves that you can hand your buyers to put on their hands so they're not touching things, if somebody was going to walk through your house, what would you want them to do or not do? And so just read the broker instructions, listen to those showing instructions, and follow them to the T. And, I literally put some gloves on walking in.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of videos that are out there, videos of like Ring doorbells and everything else that, people are paying attention to. So just be careful.
Debbie, would you recommend that they carry a copy of their license if they are stopped by somebody asking if they're a member of an essential business?
Yeah, that a business card will probably do it. I don't think fines are going to go in. I think that's a last resort. So if you can go and download a copy of your license on Dora and print it off, and not a bad idea. It's actually probably a really good idea to go do that. But for now, I think it's more of an educational piece if they stop you or somebody asks questions around that.
Awesome.
I have a question about the COVID-19 addendum. Is that something that should be executed at time of the purchase contract?
Yes. Yeah, and probably wouldn't hurt to do it and add it if you're listing a property so they know what they would be seeing coming in with a buyer.
Okay, and are both boxes supposed to be checked or one or the other?
I'd have to go look at it, Erin. I can take a look at it and put something out on Facebook if you like.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
What else? I really like seeing all your faces.
Hey, so Shannon, we have a buyer that's looking at Sterling Ranch new builds, and the new build people are saying just bring people. They're not saying the earnest money hard. They were looking at that before all this happened, our buyers. And they're now saying, we don't care, bring 500, just bring people. So it sounds like the new builds are feeling the stress and the strain and are willing to negotiate and work with buyers more than ever before.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would say about Shea, yesterday, we got turned away from a Shea model because of we had an appointment, but my client had been to San Francisco about 8 days ago, so they wouldn't let us in, and so now we have to come back on Sunday, and they're ready to write. So builders, and I know Shea is one. Richmond doesn't have any restrictions. I think they're just letting anybody in the door. But Shea, if you're going to see a Shea property, you need to make an appointment. They're going to interrogate you, and I think they're all going to follow suit to that.
And they should. And they should. I would also insist as the broker that COVID addendum be added in with the builder.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Would you recommend we amend a pending to add that in with the builder?
Yeah, that's a really good idea. If they'll do it. I mean, our first whole situation, Jamie, is it okay if I mention? Are you good?
Yes.
Yes, no?
So,
yes, because it's also common now. It's, yeah.
and it's closed, it's done. So our first brush with this whole thing was with one of Jamie's clients. It was the first, coronavirus case in Colorado. And
to be a trendsetter.
yeah, she's a trendsetter. And it was our first OMG call.
You're just a problem child.
Right. It was, so the builder had to work with them, but they needed copies of letters from the health department stating that yes, they were quarantined and being tested and whatnot. So, and it did end up closing. Did they end up charging them the extra fee?
They did not charge them any additional fees or anything to hold the property for the extra 2 weeks.
Good. So Scott, to answer your question, it may not be a bad idea, even if it goes for the next 60 days, and then it could be either re-upped or pulled back altogether. Better safe than sorry. I think most of the builders are going to work with you, but you know, I wouldn't want to take the chance either. So
yeah.
Good questions.
You know, I would even ask if there's a builder that doesn't have the man force to market some of their properties, maybe this would be a great opportunity to say, hey, Mr. Builder, I know that you have a vacant property. I'd love to be able to walk through and do a digital open house for you. Would you be interested? Something like that where you can, you know, it ties into thinking outside the box, right? If we know that some of these things are going on and there's vacant homes, there's vacant new construction, that could be an opportunity for you. And in a way of being able to share that, whether it's on Facebook or maybe it's a mastermind that you do on Zoom around some of the top vacant homes in your area. So, you know, think of different strategies and ways, and please, please, please follow all these guidelines.
Don't make Debbie come after you. She will.
Right. So as we get ready to wrap up here, there are a lot of upcoming events, which is awesome. And our intention behind this is to make them power packed and short. And so, you know, please pay attention to the emails that are going out, especially the Thursday email. Amber, you've been doing awesome by sending out the dailies.
I won't be doing the Thursday email for a while. You guys are getting bombarded. Okay. So every morning at 8 a.m., an email will go out with that day's training classes. So links to KW Connect, links to what we're doing, links to what the region is doing. So watch for that. That'll come out every morning at 8 o'clock. I draft it the night before, so it auto sends for me at 8 a.m. the next day. I'm trying not to harass you guys too much. We talked about this on Coffee with Your MCA. Haymarket's been a little bit weird with us lately, so we probably won't be sending out very many text messages. So that email is going to be primary form of communication. So if you've blocked me, you might want to go unblock me.
I didn't block you, I promise.
Liar. You're fired.
And thank you so much for doing that, because with all of the information that's been coming out from KW Connect, invites and all of the other stuff now, parents that have to deal with school emails as well, just getting that one in the morning that says exactly what's going on for that one day has been huge. So thank you very much for doing that.
Of course. The only other thing that will come out, like if Damien said something, there is something going out to you guys this afternoon, an update from Dora. So we're trying to limit those, but if something comes out that we know you guys need access to right away, then those will be coming out as well. So we are trying to leave you guys alone. I know you're getting bombarded. So, and then we're here, reach out if you need us. So that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Amber. So please pay attention to those. Quick question as we finish up, and I asked this last week, and I think it's something that we can internalize and really start looking at this. What do you want your life and your business to look like at the end of this? However long this goes, whatever the other opportunities that we have that arise, what do you want your life and your business to look like? The key element to that is, as your leadership team, what can we do to help you bridge that? Our goal is truly to, one, your safety, your health and your safety first. And then after that is to keep your businesses going from survive to thrive to then going and taking massive territory, which is always an opportunity in a market shift. One of the statements that was made, and I'm going to close with this, learn how to do things that make you uncomfortable. So learn how to do things that make you uncomfortable. When you become uncomfortable, that's also when you start to grow and you start to have different opportunities that arise through that, versus pushing back and saying, no, that makes me uncomfortable. Technology command makes me uncomfortable, right? And I have to learn how to get through that uncomfort and keep pushing. So, and I know Amber loves hearing that. So really take a moment to think about that. Learn how to do things that make you uncomfortable. And then how can we help you through that? If you run into a stall, if it's a mindset piece, if it's a how-to, please reach out to us, call us. You know, my cell phone number is 907-242-7653. Text me or call me. I'm happy to help you and guide you through that. And be there on some of these Zooms that we're doing. They're pretty darn impressive. And it's, the neat thing about it is they're coming out with some major ahas and some value add that you can put in your business. So with that, I just wanted to, one, say thank you. And I really mean that. Thank you from all of us in your leadership team. Thank you for being on the line. Thank you for being in there with us and locking arms with us as we all power through this together. And please let us know what we can do to help. So with that, have an incredible week. Jump on these Zooms that are relevant for you. Invite guests, and when I say that, invite your fellow KW agents too. They need our help just as much as everyone else does, right? So let's work as a community, work as one solid unit here. This is our culture. This is who we are. So with that, thank you very, very much. And I will see those on the Zoom. And other than that, please reach out.
Bye, guys.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
Great day, guys. Take care.
Thanks, guys.